Dre. You know, Dre had many eras in his career. He had the world-class Wreckin Cru era. He had the Ruthless Records era. He had the Death Row Records era. And he had the Aftermath era. If you could pick your favorite era of Dr. Dre's, which one would you pick?
I'd have to share between the world-class Wreckin Cru era and the Death Row era. The world-class Wreckin Cru era for me, because I was directly a part of all of that in the very beginning with him, Eazy, and everybody, to see it start to manifest and become what it became was kind of exciting in one way, but then it got funky as he perfected his musical sound. It got perfected in the Death Row era, to my opinion. Ruthless was good. You know, he had some good songs with Ruthless, but when it came to the Death Row era, that was a whole nother level right there.
Death Row was my pick, my favorite. In fact, my favorite time in hip hop personally would be, I would say, from 92 to about 96. Just personally, I was in high school and the Dre, the G-Funk, and it was just everything to me back then. So I'm definitely going Dre, Death Row.
But you know what, though? That was probably one of the most tragic eras of hip hop as well. We lost a lot of people in that era, man. We lost Eazy, Tupac, Biggie. Clubs started getting shut down. I mean, the effects of gangster rap started to hit us in a way we didn't expect. You know, people took gangster rap as just as a musical format, but it was a lifestyle for a lot of people, man. And for somebody who's been around the entertainment business as long as I have, to remember when LA had 50, 60, 70 clubs. I mean, literally, everybody and his mama with a liquor license and 4 walls and a roof would put a DJ in there and turn it into a club. It was a restaurant during the daytime, whether it was El Torito's or Red Robin, Red Onion, whatever the case may be. You know, all these facilities turned into clubs after a certain time. They still sold liquor, they still sold appetizers, but it was a good party era. And the music made for a party atmosphere, but it also generated a lot of negative energy. And that's where the problem came in at.
Why do I remember the Red Onion? Why does that sound so familiar to me? And someone else mentioned it in the...
I speak about the Red Onion with a smile on my face and a love in my heart, because the Red Onion was the spot.
Is that the one in Lakewood? Lakewood?
They had one in Lakewood, but the one everybody went to was the one on Wilshire. They had a happy hour that would not quit. They had all the beautiful females that wore business outfits come downstairs from the various offices and suites around Wilshire Boulevard, and they ascended upon Red Onion on Wilshire for happy hour. I think it was like Tuesday or Thursday, and man, it was just, oh my God! I got friends from that at a restaurant today. We're still friends to this day. Okay, I did well over there. I did very well. Okay. And then they did the same thing in Lakewood for a while. And Lakewood was cool. They did the same thing in Lakewood. The Black Angus in Lakewood had a club situation going on. All the El Toritos had a club thing going on. But that mentality, man, when you put that gangster mentality in an establishment like a Red Onion or a El Torito or whatever, and you got people getting stabbed, shot, whatever the case may be, beat up in facilities, it ain't worth the brand. It ain't worth risking the brand over. So they shut it all down.
Yeah, these kids don't know. Back in the 90s, I was probably the last generation to actually have a lot of places to go to. You know, now there's nowhere to go to dance. So we talked about this before. There's nowhere to go because the 90s messed everything up, man.
The 90s messed everything. Well, you know, the 90s and the mentality of the 90s. Everybody was in self-proving themselves back in the 90s. Nobody was really hard in the 80s. In the mid 90s, people started acting hard and getting harder because that was the musical sound that the streets got harder. You couldn't wear slacks and slacks and dress shoes anymore. You had to wear tennis shoes. You had to wear jeans. Clubs wouldn't let people in with jeans sometimes. So the tennis shoes definitely had not taken over yet, and it was a big scuffle because guys would come to a club. My club was a perfect example. Come to my club, dressed in nice jeans, nice tennis shoes, but they were not the fashion of the party era yet. Okay, they had not been accepted yet, and you would have a problem, or you would lose money more than anything. You would lose a lot of money by not letting people in with jeans or tennis shoes, because jeans and or tennis shoes were not allowed in clubs back in the day, dude. It was just a whole different mindset, And it wasn't until maybe late 90s, people started loosening up because Jordans came out. And, I mean, Jordan got more popular, and people treated Jordan like they were dress shoes, you know. And then you got on some nice Jordans. You want to put on some jeans to relax in, and you know they had the FUBU and the Sean John and the cross colors, and all those clothing styles gave fashion a new look. And I guess because you missing money, you get let it slide, but because people are comfortable now, they had a different attitude, and all that shit just kind of went away, just like Sean John and FUBU and cross colors, they all went away. Only thing still standing today is Jordans.
Yep. Do you remember, was that the first time people were actually killing each other over a actually, I'm remembering the leather jacket thing. I was about to ask you, is Jordan's I guess the big one that everybody was dying over that made the news and everything, but then I was remembering the leather jackets from the 70s. Was there anything in between that?
The leather jacket started it. Nah, I can't recall anything. You might have got jacked for your hats back in the day. You get jacked for an ace deuce if you had on the ace deuce. If you were stingy brim, they call them stingy brims, ace deuces. If you weren't from a certain hat, a certain group, they would take your hat from you. That's for that. But it wasn't like it was with leather jackets. Leather jackets were just a trend that if you had one on, you couldn't keep it. Starter jackets, yeah, he might be right. Starter jackets might have been a trend for a while, but they didn't have the same impact that leather jackets. I mean, leather jackets would get you killed. Starter jackets would get you jacked. Then came Killer Dayton's, the rims. If we talking about stuff people were dying for, the rims, especially gold Dayton's. Oh man, come on, dude. You can't make a left turn in LA back in you couldn't make a left turn. You did not want to get caught in the left-hand turning lane. Because if you did, you might not make it out. You did not want to get caught in the left-hand turning lane. Nowhere. That was just not a smart thing to do.
Yep. That was a real thing, kids. 90s was a different animal. All right. Shout out to Dr. Dre, man. Let's move on to a few stories. We're going to take a trip to the Niggaverse, Lonzo. I think it's been about a month and a half, almost 2 months since we've visited the Niggaverse. We've had a lot of hip-hop stuff to talk about.
Time for this one to come home.
What you got?
Man, first story, Lonzo. A list of things women need for, quote, maintenance is going viral. This is a list of things that women need. I'm going to read it off right now. Women's maintenance. Waxing, $60. Nails, toes, $75 to $130. Hair, $80 to $400.